word. And if I could just take a subtopic for today, just look at the person next to you, smile at him, and tell him it's time to get up. If I can just talk about me personally, one of the most difficult parts of the day, just for me personally, is not when it's time to lay myself down to sleep, but when it is time to arise, awaken in the morning. You know, they did a study and they said that people make life decisions by how much more sleep they're going to get in the morning. You might just think that you're rolling back over, but that rolling back over could cost you a job. That rolling back over could cost you millions of dollars to make a deal. That rolling back over could get you in a lot of trouble. I've learned I can't use the snooze button. If I got to get up, I just got to get up, because the snooze button doesn't even help anymore.
All right.
But all over the world, all over the country, we found out that people, listen to this, who are successful are people who will get up before everybody else. Lord have mercy. I might be going back a few years, but on Route 10, before Best Buy was there, if I went back maybe about 20 years, there was a store by the name of Tops. I don't know if y'all remember that store, Tops. They would have one VCR that might be $25 and one VCR that might be $50. You had to get your lawn chair and get out there. Folks would get out there before they were doing all that Walmart stuff on Thanksgiving. Folks would get out there sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes the night before, trying to get one VCR, folks. Whoever got there first got the prize. So there's something about learning how to get up. But then there's a balance that we have to make, because even though we learn when it's time to get up, your body also, the way God made our body, needs to learn when it's time to sleep. I found out that the human body cannot operate without sleep. As a matter of fact, without enough sleep, your body will shut down automatically. You won't even realize that you are sleeping. If you deprive yourself of sleep enough, you will have something called a waking dream. You will be sitting staring at somebody else, and your mind will begin to wonder. Even though your eyes are open, they say your consciousness begins to drip away. When you are sleep deprived, you can't concentrate on what's going on, because your body, it begins the shutdown cycle.
That's right. Jesus.
So now here we look in the scripture, we see these scriptures, and we see in the book of Mark that Jesus, the Son of God, in his human state, still had to sleep. Jesus in his human state still had to rest. We also see now in the book of Jonah that Jonah, and we may have heard the account, this is the same Jonah that God told the prophet Jonah to go to the land of Nineveh and to preach to the people, and he did not want to go to the evil place Nineveh, so he tried to stow away on the ship, and his body went to sleep. So sleep is a good thing for you, but I found out that too much sleep can get you in a whole lot of trouble. You might feel comfortable sleeping in your house, but if you realize what funded that house that you're sleeping in, it's not the sleep that funds you, it's what you do when you're awake. So you've got to eventually get up. So now Jonah and now Jesus, they were both in a ship and they were sleeping. But while they were sleeping, other people were in danger. And if I came to make my second point to you is, others are in danger while you are sleeping. You've got to know when to wake up, because somebody needs you. This world needs you. Jesus was in the bottom of the ship sleeping, and the winds began to toss the ship to and fro. Jonah was in the ship sleeping, and the angry sea began to attack the ship because they were sleeping. And you know one great thing about sleep that's different than anything else? Once you asleep, you could be in Africa, you could be on a plane, you could be on a train, you could be in your bed, you could be in China, you could be in Russia. It feels the same.
Wow.
Once you have a good sleep, I'm not talking about that tossing and turning. That's not sleeping. Let me get that clear. Tossing and turning every 2 minutes and laying down is not sleeping. I'm talking about when you just close your eyes and you wake up. What day is it? What time is it? Where am I? Who am I? What just going on? Is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? But something begins to happen that is important once our body gets rest. Move with me, and I'm going somewhere in the presence of the Lord. There's something that's called rapid eye movement. Once we get into a high state of sleep, and that rapid eye movement, in other words, is known as REM sleep.
Amen.
But it can be very deceptive, because when you are in a deep enough REM sleep, your body begins to do something called lucid dreaming. In other words, you lose touch with what reality is. If you ever been in a real deep sleep, you will be going through events that you think are happening. I've been so tired, I dreamed that I got up for work and was on my way there, but was still sleeping the entire time. Your reality feels a little different because you are in a state of sleep. But you've got to be careful staying in that same state. There was a movie that came out that was called The Interception. I think it was around 2009 and 2010 that talked about the dream state. And there was a man that wanted to get all this money from this rich man. So they went into his dreams and wanted to make suggestions to that man in his dreams. You've got to be very careful staying in that sleep state, because the enemy wants you to stay in the sleep state so he can put illusions or delusions in your mind. He wants you to feel what is reality. But I'll stop by to tell you it's not reality until you learn to wake up. And some of you need to tell the devil right now, I've been asleep for long enough. You've been feeding illusions and delusions to my mind for long enough, but it's time
Jesus
to wake up.
Amen.
And I know there's many of us that say, you know what, Pastor, that's nice and cute, but I sleep real light. And this sound wakes me up. I'm stopped by to tell you that all of us have been to the point, I don't care how light you think you sleep, if you get tired enough, oh, ain't saying nothing to me. If that tiredness hits you hard, because I've had it happen to me. Normally anything wakes me up, but I've been tired enough where the phone rang, the alarm went off, the doorbell, and didn't hear any of it because I was in that state. When you are in a state of sleep, you are not aware of what's going on around you. And the enemy doesn't want you to be aware of what's happening around you. So it's all about, as I'm closing, because I'm not going to keep you long, it's all about the timing. Yes. I got to know when to rest, but I got to know when to wake up. Right. So that's now how we see in the scripture now how Paul tells the people that now it is time to awake out of sleep. One of the first sermons that I heard when I joined the Fellowship Empowerment Center, as the daughter may remember this, the Linda might remember this, before we had high-tech banners and everything else like that, there used to be something called the Sermon of the Month, and there would be easels that sat right on the left side of pulpit, and then this real big writing in black marker, there would be the Sermon of the month. And I remember the sermon of the month when I got there was, your dream will only come true if you wake up. In other words, everything can't happen in your sleep. Listen to this. I got the dream in my sleep, but my action made it happen. Having the idea is just part of it. Thomas Edison could have went to his grave, or excuse me, Lewis Howard Latimer rather, could have gone to his grave and said, I had an idea to put some little wires together and some electrical current and to plug them into electricity and put some glass around it instead of using candles. That was a nice idea, and just went on to his grave. Y'all like that idea? But he had to put it into action.
Yes. Amen.
Someone else could have said, I'm fine. I have the idea that I don't just want to talk on the phone when I get back home. Like we used to do. Just rush back home to make a call. Or pull out on the side and make sure you had 25 or 35 cents. But I like the ability to make a call wherever I am.
Yes.
They had an idea. And a lot of y'all don't realize the first cell phone was in 1983.
Wow.
It took 15 years, almost 20 years really, for it to take off. But they kept that idea. They made it a reality. So now as I'm closing, as we come out of our sleep, now the question is, how can I make my dream or my thoughts a reality? I talk about this all the time. One of my favorite shows when I was younger, had a few favorite shows, was the Muppet Babies. I don't even know if that still comes on anymore, but the Muppet Babies. And I used to love the Muppet Babies because they were the Muppets when they were little, but they were in daycare. But what they used to do every single episode, they would start having their pretend time, their daydreaming time. And they were transformed from wherever they were. The beginning of the episode, you might just see them sitting down, and you might just see them sitting down or laying on the carpet of the daycare floor. But by the end of that episode, now you see those Muppet Babies, and they're flying, and they're different places because they have decided to make their dream, they decided to let their mind go.
Yes.
So listen, I stopped by to tell you, there's nothing wrong with dreaming. There's nothing wrong with, and can I just take a side note? Stop letting people tell you that's a bad idea. You know how many folks right now are unsuccessful because they listened to the wrong person? You know what they said? A smart inventor doesn't give the people what they need because the people don't know what they need. A smart inventor tells the people what they need.
All right.
I want you to catch that. Smart inventor does not give the people what they ask for. A smart one tells them what they ask for. How many of y'all thought y'all be holding a calculator in your hand taking pictures 20 years ago? I'm just telling you the truth. Thought you'd be holding a calculator in your hand and just snapping. You was going down to CVS asking, do they have your stuff ready? And how long it's been here all this time? Or get those little disposable ones. They still sell those, the little disposable ones. You get those one time. I went to camp. I used to get the yellow package. You used to get.
Okay.
We didn't know what we wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Somebody had to tell us. So sometimes the Lord will give something to you, and the people may say, I don't want that. It's not what they want. Sometimes God has something for you that will help the people to give them what they didn't know they wanted.
Amen.
Wasn't nobody running around saying, I don't want no candles in my house. They could see just fine.
All right.
But somebody else told them there's a better way.
Amen.
So God has something inside of you. I always give the example, when somebody's drowning, you don't ask them for help, you give them help. Yes. So in this room, God has endowed in you, placed inside of you, dreams, visions. Let me tell you this, I'm going to tell you something personally about me. I didn't know, and my mother and sister could attest to this, for years. I used to sit down, at the time I couldn't play the keyboard worth a darn, but for years, I would sit down and pretend I have a whole church service in my bedroom. The choir gets up this time, the choir sits down that time. You go over and do this time. I would get up and perform, do plays in the bedroom by myself. I didn't understand what I was preparing myself for.
Amen.
From the time, I'm not making this up, from the time
Yes.
of 4, 5, 6, 7
All
years
right.
old.
Amen.
We was in the backyard, other kids played hide go seek. We set up the chairs and we had church. Let's tell you the truth. Did it at Maranatha Academy, did it at Faith Temple, did it at the Fellowship Academy. I did it. I didn't understand what was happening. But in my pretend time, my dream became
A reality. Amen.
So what you've got to understand is that those things that might seem wild on the inside of you, it can and will become reality to help somebody else. Listen, y'all, let me tell you the truth. I was living easy back in 2011. Working my job, go play a little organ twice a month, go back home. Wasn't going to nobody's church, relaxing. I didn't know what God had for me by June of 2011. But he knew what he prepared me for because of my dream. So there could be a dream inside of you. Stop looking for, listen, I hear God now because I got to close. Stop looking for agreement. Sometimes you got to be careful sharing your ideas with folks. If I'm telling you anything, I'm telling you what I know. You got to be careful who you share with.
Amen.
Because certain negative things you don't need in the atmosphere. You don't need somebody attacking something before it comes out.
Come on.
You got to be very careful. But what do you think about it? You know what you say? If God says, I ordained what you did, and you ask somebody else, you know what you tell God? Oh, your opinion wasn't enough. I just needed somebody else. I know you're God, but I was hoping somebody else who did nothing for me.
All right.
Somebody who never made a way for me. Somebody who never breathed the breath of life into me. Somebody who never healed me. I figured I'd ask them.
My Lord.
Make your dream a reality, whatever it is. And please, let's get away from the lie that it's too late. That old man, KFC, was 70 years old, Colonel Sanders, before his recipe took off. It's not too late till it is. I'm going to say again, it ain't too late till it is. It's not too late till it is. Henry Ford was not a young man when he patented the first motor vehicle. Just tell you the truth. That's something that's happened very recently. Now we feel in society, oh, if you're over 25, then you're done. That's a lie.
Yes, sir. Amen.
Thank the Lord. And if you really be one of those smart people that's making money, you're not one of the people that's just in front of the camera, because the life cycle of them is maybe 5 years. That's what it is now. Life cycle of the actors and the singers, the rappers, is 5 years max now. It's not long. That's the people in front of the camera. But you be one of those people that can be in front and behind.
All right.
Those people make money a long time. And God rest his soul, just like that billionaire just killed himself. Most of y'all never heard of him, and he was a billionaire. And you just heard of him the past few weeks because they started talking about it. He'd been making billions Epstein been making billions for a long time, and you had no clue who he was. God can make your dream a reality. Let us all stand. We're going in the presence of the Lord.